For tuning into this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Be sure to subscribe to The Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real relevant and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. I have with me the beautiful, at least beautiful hair over there, Lisa Santiago Mcneill. How are you, Lisa?
I am fantastic. Thank you so much, Kim, for having me on. Kim Jacobs, this is the Kim Jacobs Show. Yay, I'm excited.
I love it. I love it. You know what? We have this intro and everything done by this phenomenal team, and they've done a great job of putting it together. The lady that performs, she sings opera and do all kind of different variations. So I'm like, girl, that sounds good. I love it, love it, love it. Listen, everybody, today we're going to talk to a woman who's come from humble beginnings, and she is here to share her story. Her story is, you know how people have like stories that can take you on a journey? Her story took away her power. It took away her power. But today she stands boldly and firmly in the power that she's been endued with. And I cannot wait for you all to hear her story. So listen, everybody grab your virtual seats, tag about 10 friends, let them know that today's episode is one they don't want to miss. And let's get ready to go on a wonderful journey as we talk with Lisa Santiago Mcneill. I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to tag some people, only because I want to tag some people too. That's the only real reason to. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds now. Let's see how many people you can tag in that time frame. Let's do it. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I think I probably tagged 3 people. I cannot get that @ sign and the people tag quick enough to save my life. But anyway, listen, we're going to have a great experience today. And the show actually streams across multiple platforms all at one time anyway. So we have iHeart Radio listeners, we have iTunes, you name it, Spreaker, Deezer, all kinds of platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, multiple Twitter and multiple Facebook accounts. So all of you are streaming in from a wide variety of platforms. And we're truly honored and grateful to have you all in the virtual studio audience. So make sure you all comment, ask questions, because you make the show what it is. And without you, we don't get the chance to bring balance to the world, one household at a time. So thank you all. Listen, Lisa Santiago Mcneill comes from nothing. Literally, she's going to talk about that. She comes from nothing and thought she was nothing. She thought she was nothing and became empowered, and now empowers others to achieve greatness. I'm not going to read every detail of her bio because her bio outlines part of her journey. I want her to share that with you today. Lisa Santiago Mcneill is here. Welcome.
Thank you again so much for having me, Kim. I'm getting these last minute tags in here.
Well, I'm glad for it. So today as we talk, first of all, how's everything going for you over there with the holidays? Just some small talk for a second.
Yeah.
Are you preparing over there for the holiday season?
It's beautiful. We're settling in. We're not giving up the year very easily, though. Even though it's the holiday season, we're still trudging along, working, making some things happen for our clients. And so it's a little bit of a juggle, a balance of making sure that you have some time to sort of fa la 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 la, as well as stay on the grind.
I agree. I agree. I thought it was just me over here on this end because I'm like, you know what, just because, it's Christmas season and it's definitely my favorite time. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to just having some wind down time with my family, doing movies and just playing games and all kinds of fun stuff that we do just as a tradition. We do Elf on the Shelf, crazy stuff. We just have a good time. So I can't wait though to still close this year out strong. I feel like every day matters, and so I don't want one day to go by without me doing what I believe God has ordained or authorized or expects for me to do, because we don't know, Lisa. We don't have a clue when our life is going to end on this side of the earth. And so all of us know that we're going to go this way one day. All of us are going to have a death date. We're all going to have we have a birth date, we have a death date.
Yes.
And it's that dash that's in between that we're going to be remembered for. And for me, I want my dash to really matter,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brian was just tagging me. It says me and Kim go way back. But yes, we want that dash to have meaning. We want it to have meant something, not just to us and our immediate family, but I really want my dash to leave a legacy. I want it to be a dash of improvement for those who may be going through something right now that they think is just overwhelming and they just can't make it through. Understand that you are already on the other side of through. It doesn't always look like through, but the fact that you're still breathing and going and moving, it is success.
Yes, I love it. I love it. You're already dropping knowledge and tips, and we're going to hear more of those right from Lisa Santiago Mcneill today here on the show. What I want to do is find out from you, what was it, the thing that happened in your journey? And you can go back as far as you want. So you can take us all the way back to childhood, or you can start with your professional career, whatever direction you want to go in, because none of this is scripted. But I'd like to hear from you. Where did you realize that you were powerless? Because you talk about that a lot in your bio.
Yeah. So actually, it's interesting that right now it's a lot more vivid, although I have embraced the journey for a long time. It's a lot more vivid because right now I'm taking a spiritual autobiography, which means that I'm tapping into the different areas of my life that felt like I was alone, but taking note of the time that God was there. Okay. It's actually a class that I'm taking with a group of other ladies being led by an amazing instructor who has taken us conscientiously on this journey. I've done my biography, my autobiography, but to do the spiritual autobiography, it's like a whole different book.
It's different. Spiritual is different.
It's different. It's different. But so one of the things that we get to do is to really realize where we were at different stages in our life and what was going on. And we break it up in decades. And so I'm thinking about the first time that I felt powerless. I was about 2.5, maybe 3 years old. And I felt like I was messing up. Like, this is odd, right? It's odd. Baby, why would a baby be thinking that? But I was in a very unique situation in that my birth story, my origin was very humbly began. I like to only tell my story from my perspective. So I try to not speak about what happened to anybody else or how they
Right. This is your version of what happened to you. This is your story, and your story is real to you and to who you're sharing it with, because this is how other people are going to overcome through your testimony. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And so because of that, it has often been difficult for me because a lot of the things that I went through happened at a time where someone should have been taking care of me, but they weren't, because they weren't prepared or equipped at that time to even take care of themselves. I'm a child of a very young mother. My mother was barely out of puberty when she had me. And one of the things that I remember, the first moment of powerlessness, was when my younger sister, who was about 1.5 years younger than me, and I was about 3, so that made her an arm baby, right, at the time. She was crying, and hysterically, loudly crying and being unattended to. She was being unattended. My mother was right there, but she was asleep, and she was sleeping through this. And I just had to stop this baby from crying. I know that I saw the babies, when babies cried, you gave them a bottle. And so I waddled and toddlered over to get the bottle down and hand it to the baby in the crib. Unbeknownst to me, the particular bottle was a sour bottle. It was a spoiled bottle. So I had given the bottle to the baby and it made her sick. And so I felt like I had done something so wrong. And I wore that, I want to say, for decades. Like, even now, it upsets me because I think about, how could I do that? Why did I do that? But then the adult in me reminds myself, you were a baby. You were doing the best that you could, right? You were not responsible. You should not have been responsible for the situation.
Right.
Should not have been. And so that is part of what these different types of journeys through what you've been through can impact your life, because it allows you to look at it then from a perspective of, now you still have the memory and you still have the emotions embedded in that memory.
Right.
You have that experience, which all those things are true, but now you have the knowledge to readdress the experience from the standpoint of what you know to be true now.
Wow.
And that's what gives us our power back.
Well, interesting. Let me ask you, I know I'm interrupting, but I want to ask right there for a second. Did you remember this yourself, or is this something that someone told you? This is something that now, as an adult, however old you are, it still comes back vividly to your remembrance, and you remember even how old you were, and that your baby sibling was under the arm, kind of like a knee baby. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to help rescue this situation, but I'm not equipped with the right tools at 3 years old.
Didn't know that then. So at that time, I don't think, well, I know that at 3 years old, I didn't have the mental acumen to really understand what was going on, but I had perceived other people have been doing things, and so why shouldn't I do them too, right? So I'm thinking, putting myself in the same shoes as somebody who was far more equipped. And in that time zone, in that time, I can remember the moment. I remember the space. Actually, I was rewriting last night. I can actually remember where we were, the apartment, the neighborhood, the bricks, the different things around. I remember them vividly. And I remember feeling so responsible. Wow. And that made me think, like, you're not responsible. This is not your age of responsibility or accountability. And you get to let that go. What you were not equipped to do, you were simply not equipped to do.
Right. Now, is this like one of the only, because I know in your bio, you go through quite a few times that you were powerless. And so was this the kind of like the kickoff to it, or did this kind of start things in this downward spiral, or what?
So from that, obviously, because we were in a position that we were not being taken care of, we got shuffled around from person to person, from place to place. And as a result of that, we were in some conditions that were not necessarily the best or the safest conditions for us. And so one of the time periods of powerlessness was when we actually felt safe. We had finally gotten to a situation where it felt like we were at a family, we were home, we were taken care of, but there was one person in this unit that was not a safe person and that no one could protect us from. Now, that didn't mean that the main
place itself was bad or anything. Right. It's just that it was a bad seed type of situation. Bad seed
in that situation, right? And so because you have already been going from here to there to here to there, then you got to make the best out of the worst situation. The best out of the worst situation, which in turn was the best situation. If that makes any sense. It was better.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
It was better. So
you saying this is our safe haven, based on what I'm hearing you say. This is our safe space, generally speaking. So the last thing we want to do is get from out of this overall umbrella, because at the end of the day, we're safe here, minus this one
thing. Right.
And so this one component, how do we deal with it to be able to keep where we are for the bulk of our safety experience? That's what I think I'm hearing.
Yeah. You do. And it was about trying to figure out how to be in a means to an end, how to handle that. Not wanting to, I don't think it was intentional, or maybe it was because I had already kind of written myself as the one who was responsible. Even though we were children, the one I had written that into my story, that became my job. Became my job is to make sure everything is okay. And so whenever there were situations where that we were targeted, or that, there was something that this person needed from us, I would almost volunteer myself, because at least I could handle it and we didn't have to handle it.
And we meaning you and your younger sister.
My sibling, yeah.
So you and how many siblings did you have at this point?
One.
Was it one? Your one sibling.
One.
You and your sibling went from place to place together. Was it through foster care? What happened?
So I found out later on as an adult. It was informally foster care, because we were receiving subsidies for the people who were taking care of us, but we happened to be related to them. So they kept us as much as they could within our family demographic, but they paid the family members for taking care of us. In this case, what I'm talking about is my great-great-grandmother. She ended up raising us because they couldn't find anybody else in the family that would take us in. So they went back as far as they could go, which in turn ended up to be 5 generations. And in those 5 generations, they finally came upon my great-great-grandmother, who took us in. And again, provided a very comfortable space for us, with the exception of being able to keep us safe.
Look, y'all, we're gonna take a commercial break. We're gonna take a commercial break right there, and then yeah. It's nothing worse than somebody trying their best to provide what they think is the best environment for you. And I don't know in your case or not whether your great-great-grandmother, who is doing the best she can, if she knows that this is happening, and even if she does know, what can she really do about it? It's just there's so many factors. My goodness.
There's a lot of factors. There were a lot of factors, and a lot of very disconcerting factors that I found out later on. Again, not knowing all of everything then, but I found out later on that they knew what was going on. They being much of the rest of the family, they knew what he was capable of, but it was kind of a save yourself type of scenario, and they may have not been equipped to save anybody else. And for whatever reason, they didn't choose to be able to prevent it from happening again. That this individual had left a legacy of this type of behavior through our family for generations. 4 generations exactly.
I want to hear after the commercial break, how did you and your sibling get out of that scenario to turn the corner for a better, more bright future for yourself? Yeah. And I'd love to hear about your sibling a little bit. I know you can't talk much on anybody else's behalf, but how I can't envision how do you get out of that scenario if it's just constantly happening over and over, and you have no way of escape, and you're a child.
Yeah.
So I want to hear how did you break free from this right after this commercial break? And feel free, studio audience, if you're okay with that, Lisa, for them to comment and to ask questions as well. Sure. Listen, everybody, we're talking with Lisa Santiago Mcneill. She's talking about coming from humble beginnings. And once you hear where she is now, her beginnings were really humble, and God had a plan for her life. So we'll be right back right after this commercial break.
I'm attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit Snow Legal snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everybody, we're back and we are talking with Lisa Santiago McNeill. And I want to hear how did you break free of this? Who
So
helped you?
ultimately, after enduring it for as many years as I could in some very difficult situations within those years, that again, through years of healing, through years of therapy, through years of addressing those time frames, was able to heal after the fact. But how I got out of it, at 13, I ran away. At 13, I decided, you know what?
Oh, wait. I did not. Oh my gosh. I did not expect for you to say that.
Yeah.
You know how you I didn't have any notes or anything that says that you ran away at 13 years old. Now that's putting you out into the total wilderness.
Yeah.
And into any dangerous situation, right? Outside of the danger that you were experiencing in your home.
Right.
Did you and your sibling run away or just you?
No, just me. Gosh. I ran away independently.
Woo!
And after graduation, I graduated from the 8th grade, and I ran away. At first it was not like a major situation. Like I ran away from home, but I kind of hung out from couch to couch, did couch surfing as a teenager. You know, moms didn't mind, friends didn't mind, went from couch to couch, stayed over the night.
Did they know the situation?
They didn't know. No, they didn't know the situation.
Well, I'm missing something big. Like I would not just let somebody's kid just come stay at the house, and I haven't talked to the parent, to the great grandma, somebody. What? They just let you just come crash.
Just come, stay, crash, stay overnight. And a lot of times it wasn't only with friends. So by the time I was 13, pretty much was maturely interacting my life independently. I stayed into high school. I actually got into high school and stayed in high school until the 10th grade. I actually started a part-time job. I stole one of my aunt's identification. She was a few years older than me. So I got a job at Burger King. I went to work from 4 to 12 and I went to school from 7 to 4. So I actually continued. Yes, I continued as much as I could to operate without too much attention being brought to the fact that I had run away from home until school just really got in the way. School got in the way of survival. If I really think about it, what happened was they assigned me a calculus class at around the same time that Burger King was evaluating raises at the time. And this calculus class didn't have a bit more to do with me getting that 50-cent raise than it did anything in my world. And I just figured, you know what? I'm going to school and I'm getting on these trains. I'm doing my homework on the train. I'm going to school. I'm going to work. And then I'm sleeping at whatever friend's house or whatever place I can be at. And then it's not impacting my bottom line. And honestly, I just decided at that point that, you know what, I was going to drop out. So I dropped out of high school.
Girl, I am not prepared. I'm sorry. I'm not even, I don't know. Y'all can tell what y'all want, but I'm like this over here. I'm like, I am not prepared for this kind of, we didn't talk about this stuff backstage, y'all. So I'm getting a raw experience just like you guys. Okay. Yeah. 13, you left home. Mm-hmm. You went into straight survival mode. Yes. So you mentally had the wherewithal to say, I'm not going to quit school. I'm going to continue to go to school.
I'm going to continue to go to school. Paperwork. The reason why I left was, it was not so much only because I didn't want to deal with it anymore, the abuse, the molestation, and that it was more that I had come into a mindset that I was now old enough in my mind to retaliate against some of these things. And either it was, I don't know if it was television or if it was the world, I don't know what actually illuminated me, but that at a certain age, at this age, at 13, if you commit a crime, I don't remember where I learned it, but if you commit a crime, the adults in your life are responsible for paying your whatever
debt. Like they would
is.
have to be the
Right.
ones that get held accountable
Exactly.
for your behavior. So your
Exactly.
great grandmother, according to what you had learned, however you learned it, and even whether it was true or not,
whether it's true or not, I just didn't want to be there anymore because I was afraid that I was going to retaliate physically. I actually thought of murder. I thought of like killing this person. I thought that it was finally going to end with me. And so I needed to leave. I needed to get out.
Okay.
And just left.
So then you left school. Yes.
And
tell us. I can't. I don't even know what to say. Girl, I got my arms like this. I'm like,
that's so
you
funny.
left school, and then what?
Then I went to school.
Then you went to the school of the streets and learned how to.
No, I went to business school. I thought
you went to Burger King.
I was in Burger King. And then I went to I think it's gone now. I don't remember. Drake Business School in the Bronx, New York. They were a business school, which I thought at that time they were teaching people about business. And I knew that I wanted to learn business. I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to make my own name, if you will. And so I went to Drake Business School with my whole 8th grade diploma. They never asked for your high school diploma. They gave us what's called an entrance exam. So I took the entrance exam, and I was a very smart child. I passed the entrance exam, and I went on ahead to get this 2-year associate's degree.
Wait, though, but then you could. I listen very well. Okay, so you done stole your auntie's ID. So I have to ask, and I'm sure somebody in this studio audience, if y'all ain't asked this, I can't shame on y'all. Y'all didn't ask this question yet. Let me see what people said. Hello, beautiful lady. Okay, nice to see you, Facebook user. I see you tagging somebody. I see you tagging people over there. Let's see what other people said. Oh, wow. Oh, yes, I want my dash to matter too. Someone said as well. Oh, hugs. LaShondia Beatty said, oh, hugs. And then my mom said, good morning, ladies. Looking forward to a great show. Okay, LaShondia said, that's right. Hey, LaShondia, nice to see you. Okay, let's see. Wow. Okay, but nobody asked this question. Y'all, come on then. Y'all know goodness well you want to know. At least I want to know. Y'all tell me.
So
did you go in your own name?
Yes, I went to school in my own name.
So Lisa is, let's get this clear. Lisa Santiago Mcneill is your government name.
That is my name. Yes. That is my government name.
Lord have mercy. I was like, who am I talking to today? Go ahead.
But again, they didn't require the identification. Like they didn't ask for the degree or anything. They just asked, you just had to pass this test. So I passed that test. At that time, I was living with a friend who her aunt had actually gotten married. And as she got married, she went to move with her husband, and she sublet her niece her apartment. And so I moved in with her niece to help pay for the rent. And we both went to this business school.
So these are all angels in your life. Technically, they don't know.
Sending angels. As I'm going through my spiritual autobiography, I realize how much of a hand he had in things, because there is so little that could have been accomplished in my own strength, but there is so much that has been done as a result of having God on my side. So I went in. I actually went and graduated from school, Drake Business School, and started on my journey in computers and business because I had a real affinity for it, and ultimately ended up on the opposite side of that as well. That was still there was more money to be made in the hustle than there was in the legal.
Oh, right. So
I had to do what I had to do in order to survive. You're trying to make money. So making the best of a bad situation.
Right.
What I ultimately learned how to do. And ultimately we did whatever we had to do, whether it was hustling, fraud, whatever the case was. We did whatever I had to do, because I don't want to tell someone else's story. I did whatever I had to do to make this work. So did that on the streets for quite some years, and ended up using drugs for a season, cocaine abuse, cocaine use, a lot of addiction for about, I want to say, I don't know when it started, but I stopped at 26.
Wow.
And that was a journey. I'm grateful for I call it my road to Damascus experience. Amen. Because I had finally decided that, I don't want my life to end this way.
Right.
I don't want to live this life out as the final destination. I had a lot of anger because at the time, not understanding that even though it's not as great as you think it is, God has kept you from how worse it could have been.
Right.
But I had a lot of anger associated with that. And having to choose to heal from that anger, letting it go and letting some of those circumstances go is really, I think, a testament to why God allowed me to graduate and move forward.
Right.
But on the road to moving from New York City to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was going to start a new life here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was going to start a new life. It was not going to be the same. I didn't have to visit those old haunts, if you will. I didn't have to visit any of those old feelings, and it was going to be brand new. But yet, on the way to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was getting high. On the road to Charlotte, North Carolina, I was getting high. This is in 1994. And because of that, the voice from God, first of all, I don't know about y'all who think that God don't talk to you when you are not yet, whatever you are.
Wait. You got to take a commercial break. You got to leave them on a cliffhanger for a minute. You know how you on a movie. I want to hear what God shared in your spirit right after this commercial break. And y'all, I'm not going to let her just tell the whole story, and y'all ain't active participants in the virtual studio audience. So if you want to hear, say, tell us, Lisa. Tell us, Lisa, what did God say to Lisa? So put some kind of comment or just say, emoji, ear, heart, anything. Tell us, Lisa. We want to know what God said to you right after this commercial break. Wow.
It's not just another day. It's a brand new day, full of all the fun, love, and laughter you and your family create. Silver Shield Security understands feeling at home means feeling safe and happy. No credit checks, no contracts. We offer payment arrangements, and we'll even give you a free door camera. Find out how we can brighten your day even more at silvershield-security.com. Silver Shield Security.
All right, so let's see. Did anybody put some comments over here? What did God say to tell us, Queen? They want to know. Tell us what God said to you, Lisa. Tell us, Lisa. Everybody, my mom, would take her a minute. She like, girl, by the time Lisa be done told it, took a nap and everything, by the time she say, tell us, Lisa. But I see, okay. I see, tell us, Queen. Tell us, Lisa. Tell us. Okay, so go ahead. Tell everybody what the situation.
So this gives me chills too. But let me first say, this was not a new experience, me talking to God while I was high. This was not a new experience with me talking to God before, while I was still in my tragedy. This is not a new thing. I have been speaking with God all along. He was my road dog. He was my ride or die. I did not have the same understanding yet, but he was always present. And I think it's important for me to say that, because I didn't have a traditional got saved moment, right? I didn't have a traditional got saved, know Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior. I had a remarkable experience. He was with me through this, carrying me as if I was precious, even in the midst of the tribulations. he was helping me to get from point A to point B, even when I thought that he wasn't there. As a result of some of the things that I had gone through with the abuse and molestation, I found myself with certain STDs that had prevented me from getting pregnant. And I was very, very angry with a lot of things. And so as I move forward, like I said, now I'm coming to North Carolina to start a new life. To start over, I want to leave New York and they high rent and you got to pay for your car to have a house and you can't drive it and everything's
right.
Right. So I want to leave that, and the cold, they can keep that snow. I want to leave all of that behind. And now I'm moving to a place that I think I can have a new beginning. But remember, I was still getting high. I had an 8-ball of cocaine on the road with me, and I'm sniffing and I'm just smoking my cigarettes and I'm having a good old time on the road from New York to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm talking to God. And he says to me, so you're going to take the old you to a new place.
Woo, woo. You're going to take the old you to a new place.
How do you think you are going to be, have, or do anything different if you take the old you to this new place? And I turned to the person who was with me and I said, I don't get high anymore. And in the middle, I don't know if anybody else knows about cocaine, but you don't quit during, you quit after. You quit when it's finished, right? Cocaine holds you in the process. And if you are already high, it's very, very difficult not to continue chasing that high, right? It's very, very difficult. But that moment was over. It was over. I turned over a new leaf. I turned over a new part of my life. I turned it all over. Now, I still had cigarettes and I still smoked cigarettes for maybe about 6 more months. And he took those too. And I'm grateful. I was 26 and a half when I no longer smoked cigarettes. And I'm grateful for that. But the cocaine was an immediate and instantaneous decision. Because when you hear God that loud, when you hear this, it was almost like a smirk challenge from God. You're going to take the old you. That's what you're going to do.
So you're going to do this. You're going to do this.
This what you're going to do. Right. This you right here. I had to say, wait a minute, who you think you're talking to? And then you remember, oh, God is talking to you.
God talking to you, baby girl. He talking to you. So,
finally to hear him. And so when I moved to Charlotte, now I had not had a real and formal job since since leaving New York. I had a job there, but again, I was hustling, robbing, doing whatever I needed to do. Matter of fact, when I decided to move to Charlotte, North Carolina, I left as many bills behind me as I could and stockpiled every dollar I could keep because I was coming into a new place. So I was trying to prepare myself to be in this new place. Well, when I got here, within 3 days, and I tell you no lie, the organization that I will never forget them, it is the Charlotte Area Fund. I arrived here in North Carolina with no children, no job, no formal experience, meaning no resume.
right.
I had my experience from the school, but I had never legally put any of that into implementation. So I just had my experiences. My hair is standing up on my head right now as I tell the story.
Yeah, actually here, Sonia Van says that the hair on her arms are also standing up.
Yeah, so I have really that's power right now.
God will always speak to us and give us a word. And then Sonia said, my God, my God. A lot of people, God's voice, LaShonda Beatty is saying.
God's voice is real. So when I showed up here, his name is Carl. I can't remember his last name right now, but this gentleman's name is Carl. He worked at the Charlotte Area Fund. And when I went there, they saw something in me that they wanted to help. And they did what God told them without verification, validation, or any approval, nothing but the Holy Ghost. He sat there and wrote my resume. They gave me what do you call it? A gas card voucher at the time. I don't know what it was, but anyway, to get gas in my car. They sent me on a job interview, and they sent me to what's that place? To the place that to help you get an apartment when you're just moving to the city. Now, no job, no family, no history, nothing here, no resume. Within 3 days, I had a job at Bank of America. Within 3 days, I had an apartment lease to sign. Within 3 days, I was moved in and restarted my life.
Now, y'all know y'all need to put some praise God, hands up, praise the Lord, emojis all in the comment section.
Absolutely.
Look at God.
Absolutely.
From humble beginnings, y'all, we're talking with Lisa Santiago Mcneill, from real humble beginnings to where God has brought her now. I want you, when you come back, and I see all of your hallelujahs, I see the emojis and everything, continue to pour in your comments. Yes, lots of comments coming in and lots of support for this beautiful guest that we have here today on the Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, right after this commercial break, I want you to turn us all the way around the corner and talk to us about how you now take your experiences and you help empower other women.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about that, because now when you say something, if I'm a woman, I want to hear it, because I know that you done been there, you done that, and you got the book for it, you got the t-shirt for it, and you paid a price with some parts of it. I do
have the t-shirt for it.
Let's see. It
says, "Be strong and courageous." Be strong and
courageous.
That is Joshua. I'm telling you, God said it to Joshua, and he's saying it to you. I want you to understand, be strong and courageous, because your through is a breakthrough that someone else has been waiting for. It's not only for you.
Be strong and courageous. Right after this commercial break, we're going to hear, yes, Arnetta Caldwell, our expert that talks to us about how to heal from a broken heart and how to have faith and put it into action. She says, you have an inspirational story, Lisa. Yes. Listen, right after this commercial break, we're going to come back and hear how we can be strong and courageous as women from our expert, Lisa Santiago Mcneill. Wow.
My father had 4 of his fingers amputated in a workplace accident. It was the first injured individual I represented, and I knew I had to win that case. When someone walks into my office and they've been injured, I know what they're going through. If you've been injured at work with Hunter and Everett. We've got the experience, so let us help you.
All right, everyone, we're back talking with Lisa Santiago Mcneill, and we want to hear how you now empower other women, Lisa.
So I'm going to fast forward a lot, because a lot of things happened in those 20 years from the time that I left New York until I am where I am now. That's about another 25 years. But I'll fast forward. After getting a job at Bank of America, I then only stayed there for a very short time and ended up working at IBM. The Lord opened doors for skills that I had, but certifications I did not yet have. And IBM actually hired me on, and they actually took a chance on me, got me certified, and I got all of my certifications through the company. Then God opened up doors that allowed me to take long vacations to be able to give nonprofit programs and stuff like that I had, give back to the children, give back to the community, to become who I wish I had at that time, right?
Right.
And then God spoke to me again with this loud voice, and he said, "When will you trust me?
When will you trust me?
When will you trust me?" Well, listen, I've been trusting you. I'm in this job that I'm not qualified for. I'm getting these programs that I'm not qualified for. All of these things are happening. I'm trusting you explicitly. And he said, "Nope, you trusted in the 1st and the 15th."
You trusting in that first and the 15th, and when the income coming in, then you're
when
like,
those
yes,
incomes are coming in. And
Lord.
I
Yes,
said,
God,
Lord,
I
what do
trust you
you
today,
mean?
acknowledging and everything on the first and the
Like, really, God? The 1st and the 15th, I'm trusting you. And it was honestly one of the things that I realized, even growing up, even through those trials, that money was always a solution. Money could have been a solution to prevent what I had gone through. It could have been a
Right.
solution to prevent what I was continuing to go through, even some of the trials and the choices that I was making. Money could have been the solution. And the lack of money actually caused so many of those choices that either I had to make or that were made on my behalf that worked those situations out so tumultuously. And so he helped me to see that economic independence is really the key to freedom. There were so many women
economic,
that
and
were
say that again. Say that again.
economic independence is the key to freedom. As we say, economic independence is really empowerment, because when you can write the check to get out of an oppressive situation, you don't have to stay with domestic violence. If you can write the check to take you and your children into another city, you don't have to stay in a situation where your family is being oppressed. If you can write the check to get out of where you are to where you want to be, then you have power. But the one thing that I didn't have with at IBM was that I couldn't revisit that power on anybody else. I couldn't give it to somebody else. I couldn't help them. I might be able to get them a job. I might be able to show them this, but it was all within the confines of what the company decided, ultimately not me and not them. And I feel that there is so much power that is given to us from God. He has told us that he has bestowed upon us skills, gifts, and talents. Those skills, gifts, and talents are meant to help you to build a legacy for yourself and your children's children.
Yes.
A lot of times we overlook this. A lot of times we're looking for either another way or the easy way. And a lot of times we are simply not looking at our experiences, which really could be the source of our strength. So in writing these things down for myself, in writing my first book, Discover Your Why, A Journey to Wholeness, discovering your why was like, why did God let me go through all of this? Why did he let me deal with it? Why did he allow me to experience it? Why? And I found out the why. And the why was because he could trust me with it.
Yes.
Just like he can trust so many of you with what he's put in. It's your legacy. He could trust you with it.
That's good.
And ultimately, with that, even with the scripture where when the woman went to the prophet with what she needed, the prophet asked her directly, "What do you have?"
Right.
Talking about the woman with the oil, the cruse of oil. He said, "What do you have?" Sometimes you don't know what you have because you're not looking at it from the right perspective.
Like Les Brown says, you're in the frame, you can't see the picture. So you got to, sometimes it takes other people, other warriors and other people to pull that out of you and say, look, you have greatness inside of you and we're going to get that thing yanked out. Yes.
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
You're looking at it from the perspective of what you think you don't have and not what do you have. What do you have? And so when the prophet Elijah said to the woman, "What do you have?" she first answered, just like most of us, "I don't have nothing. I got these bills. I got these problems. They're getting ready to take my sons. I don't have anything." But see, because of his anointing, she revisited herself. Sometimes you have to be the anointing for somebody when they don't have anointing in themselves at that moment. All they have is doubt. And so by helping her to look at herself again and say, "I have nothing but this cruse of oil," he was then able to ignite something in her to see that you have more than you thought you had. And that's what God did with me. And that's what I get to do with so many women, to help them to figure out that you have more than you thought you had. whether it's tenacity, whether it's resilience, whether it's experience with caring for an aging parent or an autistic child, a special needs child, whatever these things are, you got to understand that you were specifically equipped for this.
That's right.
And it may not be as easy for somebody else who is striving with it. And now they have the desire to get their strength from you.
Yes.
But there's an exchange of value for that.
Amen is right, Phyllis. Yes, yes.
There's an exchange of value. You get to exchange what you have, which may be money, for what they have, which may be knowledge, experience, and abilities. And so by taking your money and pouring it into someone with the knowledge or experience that you need to get through where you are, to get to your own blessing, that's where the commerce comes. That's where the blessings come. And so we're able to take you on your own journey to discover your why. And I actually take my clients through a 5-part manifestation process, which includes reflection, because you got to see where you come from in order to get where you're going, right? And then help them to figure out what type of business, what type of book, because it often starts with your book. Telling your story is the best way to help to raise yourself as a subject matter expert in a particular area, because you're not telling what you know, what you heard. You're telling people you wrote the book on it. I know this to be true.
I know what I'm talking about from my own life experiences.
Exactly.
So I'm not just telling you something I heard or read about. I'm telling you my own journey. Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
And
listen,
then
if any of you I want to pop on the screen, because I see you typing a lot, feel free to use this link and it'll bring you right into the broadcast, and I'll let you say a quick word to our guest. Go ahead.
That's cool. And then in the process of figuring out where you are and what God is trying to say, we have to slow down. Like right now, me and my groups are taking a 21-day jumpstart into 2021. And this is one of the programs that I take my clients on. It's the guided journey within, because seeking the small voice that really wants to lead you to the truth. I'm not talking about what you heard. I'm not talking about what you figured out. I'm not talking about what you thought. I'm talking about the truth about your situation. He said he would never leave me nor forsake me. Now it might look like I was left or forsaken, but he was right there.
He was right there.
He was right there.
Right there.
So by taking this guided journey within, it will help you to realize your strength in the face of weakness, and your strength in the face of those circumstances that you thought were overtaking you. You actually prevailed.
I love it. I love it. And hey, where can people listen? Go to IamLisaSantiago.com and make sure you get these books that she's written. You can get all of them. I'm definitely talking to the podcast listeners too, because you can't see this. IamLisaSantiago.com and get definitely the books. Put them up again. Discovering Your Why.
Discovering Your Why.
Discovering Your Why by Lisa Santiago, and The Guided Journey Within. The Guided Journey Within. You can get both of those books at IamLisaSantiago.com. She shouldn't have any more books available, because we should have all of them. And I know, Mom, I know. My mom's going to say, and I want my copy, Kim. So I got to get a whole bunch of books for bundles for my mom, because she wants everybody's books that has been on the Kim Jacobs show. And she reads them too, and highlights and do notebooks from them and everything. You can also follow Lisa on LinkedIn at I Am Lisa Santiago. And her website again is IamLisaSantiago.com. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you started a publishing company. I would like for us to talk about that.
Well, I'm not starting. I've been a publisher since 2016.
No, I meant to say, well, why did you start a publishing company? Because I know you started one, but I want to know, why did you start it? Because a specific reason why you started.
I started it because I wrote my book. My book, and I had to figure out how to publish it. For 10 years, the book was written, but I didn't have the money to get it published. I didn't have the money to put it out there. And I put together the money. I scraped the money to go on this retreat in Florida from Charlotte. Okay. Went on this retreat, without enough money for the hotel, didn't have enough money for the hotel, didn't have enough money to eat, but I had enough money to get there. I figured, you know what? People are homeless in New York. I was homeless in New York. I could surely be homeless for 3 days in Florida if I need to.
Yes.
Because I needed to get this information from the coach that was there. So I got to Florida, no room, no money, no nothing. And she made a declaration from the stage that anybody that got their book in hand by June 16th, I was going to promote it, and I was going to she said she was going to promote it to bestseller, and it is a New York, it is an Amazon bestseller, and that she actually was going to help to get it out there. Well, in order to do that, I had to figure out how to get it published. She had a publishing company that was working with her. They only wanted like $5,000, but I didn't have $5,000. Might as well have been $5 million.
Right. When you don't have it, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So I went to prayer and YouTube University and and supplication with
that could be a real thing. YouTube University.
Exactly. And I learned how to publish it. So along with all of the people who had taken the journey with me, as they saw that I was going through getting this book out there, making it happen. I was making it happen, manifesting it. Their first thought was congratulations. Their second was, how did you do it? Can you do mine? And so I had to take my own medicine and said, what does a clue look like? Maybe God was telling me to gather ye many vessels. Gather ye many vessels. And that publishing was my cruise of oil. And so I went on and began to help some people get their books out. When I say some people, I'm proud to say now we're at 107 published works, and 15 not just for children's books.
I am so excited for you guys.
Yes. And it is, and I want to say we have 13 bestsellers, 107 books, 15 not just for children's books. And when I call them that, it's because the messages in them is not only for the baby. The messages are for the family, the caregiver. The messages are so often for the women, just like discovering your why. I had a lot of problems getting it into some of the churches because some of the language in it is mature language. But I have to say, God was with me when that language was being spoken. And if you can't hear it in your church, then maybe you can't get the healing that I got. So I had to understand that it was a lot of places that my book was not getting to go. And so I wrote the children's version of it. It's called The Tiniest Little Acorn. And it actually is the account of discovering your why in language and experiences of a tiny little acorn who was lost and left alone, crushed under the earth, isolated and buried underfoot, only to grow into the mighty oak tree, which is the same story, but in more palatable language.
That's
so that started
more
our
palatable language. I get it.
Yes, more palatable language. So
Right.
I was able to get that message into schools and be able to bring that message to daycare centers and to actually get it into the hands of more people. I gave that speech more often than not at women's conferences, and it really is a wonderful experience to have created this.
Now, with you being kind of put around different places yourself growing up, I know that you have a passion to work with the nonprofit Home for Me. Talk about that for a second. And then also tell us about your Women's Empowerment Network, because I don't want us to get off without that happening. But
Absolutely.
I need to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and hear both of those brief stories, and then we'll be prepared to close out today's episode. So stay with us, everybody.
Absolutely.
We're talking with Lisa Santiago Mcneill, and she's taken us from her humble beginnings to multiple Amazon best-selling author, podcast host, nonprofit, pouring into nonprofit organizations and helping other women become empowered. So we'll be right back with Lisa Santiago. Now you'll still be on the screen on this one, Lisa, but here we go. Lamb Funeral Home, everyone. Lamb Funeral Home is in the Concord, North Carolina area, and they are eager to serve your family. If you're dealing with someone that's transitioning, and we know that over 700,000 people have passed away dealing even with just COVID-related complications. So if you know of some people that are in need of funeral home services, which is a lot of people across the land, 704-782-3011. Mr. Terry Lamb, who's in charge of this particular funeral home, he is a veteran as well, so he knows all of the ins and outs of the veteran benefits. They're certified in all 50 states, so go ahead and give them a call. Their family is eager to serve yours. 704-782-3011. All right, Lisa, tell us about Home for Me and about your network.
Absolutely. Home for Me, I'm honored to say I'm the chairman of the board for Home for Me, and is a voice for teens who are aging out of foster care. What a lot of people don't know, Donna Lee Reed is the founder, and what a lot of
love
people
Donna
don't
Lee
know,
Reed.
yes. What a lot of people don't know is that sometimes children reach the age of 18, and if they have not been adopted, then their services end. They age out of foster care. So now imagine if you're 18 years old and you were having your birthday. Instead of it being a celebration, it becomes nice to meet you. Have a nice day. There is the point that you find yourself all alone at 18 years old. Now, I went through the process at 13, but understand it's not something that I'm proud of or that I would wish upon anybody else. At 18 years old, we're lucky to get some of these kids into college. We're lucky to help them to get into group homes and stuff like that. But just like at the beginning of 2020, one of the issues that we had with the pandemic was they were in college, but college got closed.
Right. Now, you know how crazy that is?
So now you're in college. You can't just go home to mom. You can't just run home to your auntie house. You can't just, go see grandma because you don't have grandma. You don't have mama. You don't have auntie. We had to scramble to find out what to do for these children. And on December the 18th, we are going to host our holiday party for the Home for Me. And we will be providing presents for our nonprofit organization. For our children that are aging out of foster care. We're giving them a bed and a bag. They will receive a gift card so they can purchase something that they just want for themselves. And if you want to be a contributor to Home for Me, you can go to homeforme.org, or you can simply Cash App TBAGS Home for Me. That's T-Bags Home for Me. The 4 is the number 4. And we're looking to provide them with resources.
Cash App one more time.
The Cash App is it's T-Bags Home for Me.
Okay. Okay, so let's make sure we get this because you all need to, and I put it in the comment section here for you all, but definitely listen, on December 18th, each child will be receiving gifts. They're going to be receiving bed in a bag, all kinds of gifts. And I've seen this event happen, and it is just so overwhelming how blessed the students are, the children are, that are young adults that's kind of out of the system and just what the freak. They need somewhere, they need some love and help in these situations.
Absolutely.
Definitely donate to Home for Me. You can go to Home for Me, the number 4 for the podcast listeners, home, the number 4, me.org, or you can Cash App. If you'd like to just sow a seed and they can help towards getting these gifts, go to $T as in Tom, bags, Home for Me, T-Bags Home for Me, and pour into this ministry so that they get a chance to bless these young teens that don't have anywhere else to go.
Absolutely. Okay? And every little bit helps. And speaking of the other organization that I have with women's empowerment, women need women. A lot of times, many of us have found ourselves supporting someone else's dream, whether it's in your job or whether it's your husband's dream or whether it's your children's dreams. We have found ourselves in support. And what we don't have is a lot of support and celebration for ourselves. So Women Empowerment Networks endeavors to be that. We are here to support and celebrate one another in business, in spirit, and in life. We take time out to hear what's going on in your life, to hear what's going on in your business. If you have any needs that we can help with, I'm here for you in that. And then to celebrate the accomplishments that you have accomplished along the way. You can go to women'sempowermentnetworks.org. If you want to participate in our next meeting, we meet virtually now because of the ministry actually becoming more and more international. So you can join us on first and third Tuesdays at women'sempowermentnetworks.com and actually be a part of.
You said .com or .org?
.com.
Okay, and then and it's plural, like Women's Empowerment Networks.com.
I'm going to put it in the window for you.
I think I have it, so you might not have to do that extra work. Let's see. If I got it wrong, let me know. Okay, is that right?
There's no S. After women, it's women'empowermentnetworks.com.
Okay, women. We're going to get this right. Empowerment Network.
Networks is plural, but women's is not plural. Women is not plural. Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, women is already plural. I just wasn't sure if you were saying women's. Okay, I wasn't sure. Let's see. I got it. I think I got it. Women Empowerment Networks.com. And so I'm only expressive because of the people that are just hearing it. Women Empowerment Networks.com.
Absolutely. You can go there and you can register for free to attend with us on the first and third Tuesday evenings at 7:00. We hear your stories. We'll celebrate with you. And we're looking forward to being a part of your empowerment every time that we can.
You can't get a better crammed in episode than this woman. This woman took us on a whole journey. And I don't know if the person ever apologized for whatever was done, but I can see that you are.
He's dead now, but I forgave him before he died, but we've never spoke. He's dead now, but it is what it is.
But I can tell you this, whatever happened on that journey, God allowed you to overcome it and to be able to become the beautiful vessel you are today. And your story is making a difference in the lives of so many other women. So thank you for being here today and being our very, very special guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I thank you all for being in the virtual studio audience. I'm not getting off this show, though, without showing her Boaz. I know that. I don't care what we do. I don't care if we over whatever. We're going to show this man of God, her husband. Talk to us about this person right here for a second. I know y'all didn't get off the show without showing me.
My husband, Brian K. Mcneill, is a sales confidence coach. He is also the founder of Male Empowerment Networks. And they also meet on the first and third Tuesdays, where men sometimes just need men. It's a place where men can come as a discussion group so that they can support one another into healing and into wholeness. And he is just amazing, and God chose him for me. I'm excited to be his wife.
Look how you looking at him. You like, I love that man.
I do.
Oh, and he looks so happy. He just looked like, yes, this right here, my sweetie pie. Look at that. All right, y'all. Listen, we're going to get off this good show for a minute, but I am so grateful that we had the opportunity and the privilege to have you on today's episode. If you are enjoying the guests that come here on the Kim Jacobs Show, allowing us to bring balance to the world one household at a time, the only way we keep this original program content going is by community members like yourselves. Pour into the ministry of the Kim Jacobs Show so that we can keep this going every single weekday, y'all. This ain't no joke. This is every day. We come on here and provide you with original programming. And you know the only way that something like this can happen is if somebody else pours into that ministry. So I don't have a prayer cloth for you or anything, but I can tell you what, if you reach out to me, I promise I will say a prayer for you specifically, but pour into this ministry so it can thrive, okay? Here you go. And also subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much to all of our episode sponsors today. We don't take our episode sponsors for granted. Please utilize them. They're taking a moment to pour into the Kim Jacobs Show as well as a sponsor of our program. So thank you all. And thank you again, Lisa. Santiago Mcneill. I want to put your contact information up one last time as we close out. If you all send some more comments in, I'll pull them out as we close out today's broadcast. I'm going to go ahead and do the closeout, but I'll pop your comments up, everybody. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me, and God bless you.
Oh, God bless you. All right, everybody. Have a great day. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wow. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs